Yeah, we're back. Fresh towels in the building, live on tape in New York. Back with another episode. Big Mike is back in the studio.
He's here, baby.
Big Mike is back. Big Mike is back.
Been lake lifing. Now I'm here.
Back in the city, going from tubing on lakes. Is that what you do? You just go up and you hang out on the lake? It's a whole nother life up there.
I've just been smoking meat and not putting shoes on my feet, man.
Smoking meat.
Crocs on the feet.
It's a whole different world, man.
It's been great. I just was laying in the lake for days on end.
I guess I assume I know this question, but you're lake over ocean, right?
No.
You're ocean
I'm actually
first?
not. Yeah. We had this talk this week. I am I love ocean culture more than
That doesn't exist.
Yeah, it does.
Ocean culture. You're talking about beach culture.
Beach culture. So like
beach culture.
Boardwalks, vinegar fries,
boats,
roller coasters, sunscreen, ice cream with Jimmy's all over it. Like that's my
Jimmy's. That's a Northeast term.
It's very much so. Yeah. Someone told me it was racist, but I can't find any corroborating information.
I've never even heard of that. I thought that's just what I thought in Boston you call sprinkles Jimmy's.
Yeah, same with Philly.
There was an ice cream place called Jimmy's, I think.
Probably, yeah.
They're sprinkles.
Yeah. And then I like the attitude of lake life better. It's much slower.
Well, there's a Northeast lake life and then Southeast lake life, which is impossible. Southeast lake life, you're dealing with alligators and tarpons or whatever they in the water, sea moccasins.
I grew up going to Lake Lanier in North Georgia.
You can't swim in it.
Absolutely can.
No.
Massive lake.
No.
Swam in it all the time.
Yeah,
Dove off of 2-story docks.
No.
Had a great
time. Northeast lakes.
Jumped off bridges.
You have no issue of wildlife at all. You got sunfish, and that's it. Clear waters. You have no worries of water.
Are you under the impression that lakes in the Northeast are also Caribbean waters?
I'm not saying that you can see to the bottom, but I'm saying that you don't got sea moccasins or whatever they're called down in Florida. You don't got chomp, 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 chomp alligators.
Are you thinking of alligator gar?
Alligators.
There are snakes in our lake. There are
snakes.
There's snakes in every lake.
That's just false. You're talking about you're talking about a water moccasin. Water moccasins are down in Florida. They're not in the Northeast. You can't have a water moccasin in New York. You think it's surviving the winter under the ice?
Would you like to do the top 5 snakes found in northeastern lakes? Northeastern water snake, the ringneck snake, eastern garter snake. I thought those are all you put up in
no. These
on
are
your leg when you get married.
These are select near extinct snakes. There's probably 6 of these.
Timber rattlesnake,
the timber rattler,
black racer, copperheads, eastern hognose snake, which I might have been.
Maybe these are borderline like near the Southeast.
First, I said snakes in Northeast lakes. The very first link, the most snake-infested lakes in New York. Snakes everywhere, bud.
I don't like that. I thought that when people swim in lakes, that you just are impenetrable to wildlife.
Yeah.
I swam in a lake, Lake Winnipesaukee.
Lake Winnipesaukee in
New Hampshire.
Oh, is that New Hampshire?
That's New Hampshire.
No, I was thinking Wallenpaupack.
Lake Winnipesaukee definitely has no snakes. Dude, I was tubing in there, and I didn't see any wildlife. And I was swimming with no cares in the world, thinking there's no wildlife in that. This was many years ago, but don't tell me there were snakes in there the whole time that could come up through your shorts and bite your leg off.
Well, let me pull up Winnipesaukee Forum.
Lake Winnipesaukee Snake Registry.
Northern water snakes in Lake Winnipesaukee. Oh, the ringneck.
The ringneck sounds bad.
The common gardener snake.
Sounds bad. No, the gardener snake, that's just a snake that was hanging out in the lawn and then just he fell into the lake.
Yeah.
You can't have a snake that falls into the lake. That don't count.
Sure.
But either way, I'd take a garden snake. That's like this big. It's a worm. That's a worm.
Okay.
I would take a garden snake in my lake 100 times over before I swim in anything near an alligator.
Sure.
You're swimming in lake water. You can't even see the bottom. You're going to take a risk that there's an alligator creepy crawling down there?
So that's why I prefer oceans as well. I'm a clear water kind of guy.
Clear water, ocean, calm seas.
I will. So my favorite thing to do is to lay on an inner tube above the water in the
Okay.
lake. Sometimes I'll pull my feet in. I'll tuck my feet in because I get
Because of snakes?
well, I just get nervous. I don't know what's under there. I can't see. I don't like what I can't see. But then we'll take the boat out in the middle of the lake, which is 600 plus feet deep. It's a very deep lake.
Too deep.
But then when I dive in, I come scurrying to the top and I want to run. I don't want to. I don't like.
I just got the heebie-jeebies thinking about deep water. Deep water to me is the scariest thing on earth.
There is a.
I don't even like swimming into a pool that's like over 7 feet deep. You know when you dive into a pool in the deep end, and I'll allow myself one pump. Like when you go to pier, go up to the surface. If you have to do this more than once, it's too deep.
That's
like if you go.
It's a pool. It's chlorinated, clear water.
I know that, but if you dive into a pool and it's deeper than I can just do one of these and come up, that's like about 7 feet. But then if you dive down, and you're 10 feet under, and you have to like chase up to the top. I don't like that feeling at all.
So you just don't like depth.
Depth.
You're not a fan of being too deep.
Sandbar. I'll take a sandbar. I'll take a shallow sea.
Yeah.
I'll take a 4-foot pool all day. Mm-hmm. Koozie.
Koozie.
But swimming. But honestly, put lake life. I'm thrown now because I thought that the whole advantage to being in the Northeast is you have no creepy crawlers that can come get you. I thought that's why you went.
No. I mean, you just have to assume there's other than pools.
There's
and
then you can get you can get amoebas, right, in lakes.
What do you get amoebas? You get amoebas in the.
What's the thing that you can come into your body, if you know what I mean?
You're talking about
a sea. I think it's a lake creature, some sort of thing that comes up in you.
the candrew, sometimes known as the penis fish. Oh no, that's not it.
Sounds terrible.
Okay, can you get a parasite from swimming?
Parasite, yeah.
It's a parasite.
So that's a huge disadvantage to swimming in a lake is a parasite. Salt water, you can't get a parasite in the salt water.
I mean, look, I think you can get them anywhere.
Not in clear, not in
Massachusetts,
not at Sandals resorts. They don't put that in the brochure.
But yes, I prefer hanging out on the beach in the ocean, going to get the fries, the pizza on the rainy day, going to the boardwalk.
They never
movie theater.
Never really came up with a lake culture is a little bit different. It's a lot of like come over to my house at the lake.
Yes,
we'll have a barbecue at the lake house. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But
our lake has a lot of wineries. There's hundreds of wineries.
Wineries,
and
is what
all
they do.
the sides of it is all grapes being
wineries.
Grown. But on the lake, they have a bar right across the street, across the lake from our spot, which is you pull your boat up. They have a huge outdoor area, bands.
That's great.
Drinks. It's a blast.
I love that.
It's a blast.
The wine up there is not good.
The wine up there is pretty good. Now, there's a lot of misses.
A lot of bullshit up there.
A lot of misses.
I went on a wine tour.
We found a couple of good ones.
You got to do. They're known for Riesling up there.
Rieslings.
And the Rieslings are okay, but once you get into like, I went on a wine tasting, and you're tasting it with the person who made it, and I was like, it was not good.
We've had a couple that were no good, but there's one particular, not to plug, but Atwater is a really good winery because they only make wine from the grapes that they grow on their property.
I think I went there.
They don't do any.
That's a big winery.
It's a pretty big one, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, for up there, it's big.
I think the one consensus I had, if I were to describe New York wine from that region, is it was too sweet. Everything tasted too sweet.
Yes.
And they're like, do you want a blueberry fucking Sauvignon Blanc? I was like, no, I don't. And everything tasted like a regular wine with syrup in it. It was way too sweet.
There is a lot of that.
Because I think the palatable wines that we drink, you don't even think about. It's just like the way that you think about wine is either French, Italian, Argentina, Australian wine. And that's like the palatable wines I think that we drink. California.
Yeah. I don't like super sweet wines. I like a good dry wine. But they do great dry, like really dry Rieslings. They do
Riesling.
Great dry rosés up there. The red game ain't great.
No, the red game ain't great.
But I think that's more of a cultural thing in the sense that like red wine takes a lot of time to really get good. And I just don't know if they don't
get the climate.
The climate or the patience.
It's not their fault.
Yeah. But Wine culture is great up there. The
I did. I
wineries
went
are
on a wine
beautiful.
tour. It was very lovely.
Yeah.
I wish that the wine matched the beauty because it is very beautiful up there.
We went to a couple where a lady was we walked in and for a wine tasting, and she all but put her cigarette out when we walked in, and she's like, okay. And she just gave us dirty, dusty glasses, just splashing. It was pure shit.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because and it's beautiful. And we're like, ugh, this is disgusting.
Disgusting. Well, there some people
Great
just
breweries too.
as in life, some people mail it in. Some people just mail it in, and then some people don't.
Finger Lakes
Not
has
everything
has great breweries. They have a couple distilleries now that actually one of them makes a really great rye whiskey rye bourbon. It's good. There's some stuff going on up there.
Some stuff going on.
Yeah.
Plus, very relaxing. It's a good. If I'm gonna get an amoeba anywhere in the state, Finger Lakes.
Plus, our lake has a secret naval submarine installation in the middle of the lake.
Well, it can't be that secret if you know about it.
Well, that's what people know. That's what people say it is. Nobody really knows.
It could be an alien fort. They say that there's alien installations under the ocean, which makes sense. Like if I was an alien,
Going.
yeah, you go under the ocean. You're like these people can barely get underground.
Hilarious.
They're not going to go down there. If I was an alien, I would have a base under the ocean too. I think that's where I would go.
There's a military-esque platform in the middle of this lake, and if you get your boat too close to it, gunners will come out and warn you to get away. Yeah.
Why would they have a fort under the lake?
So I think it's whatever the consensus is that it's a submarine or sonar testing facility for the Navy because the lake goes very deep.
Interesting.
And so
there's like equipment down there, but there's not people like me.
There might be. They might be people with subs down there.
Looking for water moccasins.
The most reasonable thing I've heard is that they'll have submarines down there that go back and forth under the lake and in a certain area. And at night, the helicopters will come out and they will test water sonar to see how far down they could see. And they would sell. It was Lockheed Martin that would sell.
Oh, so it's not government. It's Lockheed.
No, well, Lockheed is government. What are we talking about?
I guess, yes.
Oh, Blackwater's not fucking government either. What are we talking about here?
Yeah. The whole. Yeah, I don't think that they have an underground base down there.
It's not underground. It's underwater.
Underwater.
It's. You can see it. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes.
You've seen the base? Or is it technology? I think that there maybe is equipment down there.
Sure.
But there's not people down there. It's not like...
I think there are people... I think it goes down, but I don't think people are
It's not like the movie
there.
Sphere where they have an underground habitat.
No, it's like an above ground thing, and then people can go down to like do what they need to do or like work on something.
They do work on things down there. There is an underground habitat.
I believe there is. Because it goes 600 feet down. So how else would you get down there?
So there's an underground city underneath the Finger Lakes?
No, but I think that there's a tube that goes down that people can go down there to work on. Or scuba divers go all the way down, but the base is up top.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah.
To be a scuba diver going 600 feet down, I couldn't do it.
Good.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
I dive off the boat and I'm 5 feet down and I'm like, get me the fuck out of here.
I have such a fear. I do have a fear of open water, which is something that doesn't come up in a lot of conversations. People's fears, I think fear of heights is so classic one, fear of spiders, fear of public speaking, you hear a bunch, but you don't hear about fear of open water, and I feel like that is extremely terrifying. Extremely terrifying. The thought about being on the ocean with no land in sight on like a small boat,
yes.
I don't think I could do it. There's some people who really enjoy going like deep sea fishing. To me, that sounds like a nightmare situation. I need to see land at all time, even if I'm going on like a catamaran. The only time that rule goes away is like on a big cruise boat. I feel safer. Like I don't feel like I'm in the middle of the ocean
because I'm across the ocean.
I'm at like a hibachi restaurant. I'm like, I think I'm okay.
You just saw Cirque du Soleil, so you're like, I think I'll survive this.
But open water in general terrifies me. I think it's not knowing what's underneath the water is one, wildlife, and then fear of drowning is coupled with open water. But then also it's just waveage. You never see those videos of just like 100-foot waves and like big ass boats. That is
rogue waves, I think they call them.
Yeah, man. There's something about the vastness of the ocean and the helplessness of the ocean that I don't it's very unappealing to me. Even like a transcontinental cruise, New York to London, I don't think that I would do that.
I think I would.
Nah.
Have to be a big boat though.
Nah. Because think about that. If something happens in the middle of the sea, man, you're out there.
Yeah, but if you're on a big boat, like they'll come get you. What's going to happen in the middle of the ocean? I mean, the
icebergs. I was watching Titanic last
if
night.
you survive it though, then you're a hero.
Are you a hero, or are you just?
I mean, you're
not dead.
You're gonna go do all the talk shows at least.
I guess. I could be good for my career. I watched Titanic last night, not in one full sitting, but I don't know if it holds up for me.
What part of it?
I guess being married now, I'm like, I don't know. I found myself kind of sympathizing with the
boat.
Wishing I was underwater. No, I found myself struggling to hate Cal, like the rich fiance.
So you identify with him because he was you were looking at someone stealing your wife from you, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got to the movie. I'm halfway through, and to where I'm at now, I'm thinking like, I don't know how Kate Winslet's character, she's not in the right at this point. She's running up. I guess the story is that she never really loved Cal.
Mm-hmm.
So her love for Leo is okay because she never really loved Cal.
Right.
She was only in it for the money.
Right.
So she found real love in like a day. That was the other thing that hit me right away, is that there's a scene where Jack goes up to her and is like, I love you for being so crazy. You're so crazy, and that's why I love you. It's like they met like 48 hours ago.
Yeah, it was lust for sure.
At a minimum, they didn't even go on one real date. Like, he went to a dinner with all the rich people, then took hers, like, meet me at 9 o'clock at the staircase. Then they go down and chug beers in Sturridge.
And then bang in a car.
They didn't even bang at this point yet.
Really?
That's all they had. They had a dinner and they had a Sturridge dance party. And then he's in love with her instantly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, he can't help who he is, being a rich dude. And I think that he has a case of being like, yeah, my fiance is running off with a friggin' kid on a boat. At that point, he didn't really do anything wrong. I think he was upset that this good-looking kid is like off with my fiance. Like, if there was like a guy, an artist, a painter who like took my wife and was just like going on little dates with her, I wouldn't be cool with that either.
No, but who would you be more mad at? The painter or your wife?
I don't think I'm mad at Jack for liking Rose.
You're just upset at the situation.
No, I think everyone kind of like demonizes Cal, the guy, the fiance, the dude.
Well, he's rich, and so they're easy.
He's an easy target, but to this point in the movie, I'm halfway through, I don't think he did anything wrong. He has money and he's living his lifestyle. He bought her. By the way, the movie starts once we go into the Titanic, where in the past, he comes into Rose's room and says, I know that you've been a little bit, I can tell that something's not right with you lately. And like, so I was going to wait, but I got you this, which is the heart of the ocean diamond, which was for royalty.
Yeah, but
buys her this huge diamond. And I'm not saying money means everything, but at this point in the movie, he has done nothing wrong. He's a wealthy dude who clearly loves her in the way that he can.
But do you think he loves her because she's beautiful, or does he actually love her for who she is? Because I think that's the disconnect. I think that she is realizing that this guy doesn't know who I am. I don't know who this guy is. Why is he in love with me? He barely knows me too.
Maybe,
but I'm connecting more on a spiritual level with this guy I just met, this bum from the below deck,
from Chippewa Falls.
So maybe it's not Jack, but it's definitely not him, not Cal.
Yeah, I guess my answer to that is I don't think that Cal was doing anything unusual for the time period.
Right.
I think that even the mother in the movie says, like, basically, don't fuck this up for me, because your father died and he left us with all this debt but a really good name. She says that in the movie.
Yeah.
So she comes from some sort of money too. Like maybe the dad got into some
But they broke.
bad business, but they're broke. But she only knows the life of privilege.
Yeah.
So she made a conscious decision too to link up with Cal at some point. I don't think that she's in this relationship against her will. She might have been set up by the family or whatever it may
It
be.
sounds like she's not. See, I haven't seen this movie since it came out. Probably, it sounds like we're just rebelling to go slum it. And had the Titanic not sank, she probably would have gone off, married Cal, and been like, "Look, this is a fun trip, but we know what this is.
Yeah, it's a cruise.
It's a we all do weird things on cruises.
She met a guy on a cruise.
Yeah,
And instantly, well, she wasn't instantly falling for him. I guess Jack saved her in the sense she was maybe going to jump off the boat and kill herself because she was so rich. I mean, that
What do
was
they call
another part.
There's a term for that. It's a disease for being too.
She felt like she was so rich. I mean, they don't really give a great explanation of why she wanted to kill herself. She's like, I saw my life flash between my eyes or in front of me, and I just felt like I was going to live this life of the same conversations. And then she's running through the boat and she wants to kill herself.
It's called affluenza.
Yeah, that's called bullshit.
A pseudoscientific psychological malaise supposedly affecting wealthy people.
So she's got the bullshit disease. And I guess what I'm saying is at this point, I just don't understand why Cal in the movie is so hated. I don't think he's done anything wrong yet.
Yeah, he's just classic
He was
rich
like,
guy.
he was upset at her. And like, I thought I remembered him like hitting her at some point, but he never hits her yet. Like he like flips the table at breakfast being like, why are you hanging out with this artist kid? Because she got caught in a lie. I think. Because when she went down to the drinking party down in third tier, whatever they called it, she like got caught in a lie at breakfast, and Cal knew about it because his handler saw her down there, and she got caught in a lie. And then he flipped out and he flipped the table over, and she's like, I don't think that he hit her. Hitting girls is not okay, but I don't think that he did. I think he flipped the table, but I don't think he hit her.
I don't recall, but you know who agrees with you is Entertainment Weekly. Said that Cal got a bad rap.
He got a bad rap. He's a rich guy who tried to provide for Rose. He got her a dope-ass diamond. He didn't have to do that. And he brought her on a cruise boat to go back to New York.
Yeah.
Got her wonderful accommodations. Didn't want her to smoke. There was a scene where he like took the cigarette out, thought about her well-being.
He was treated poorly. He was the one being shit on the whole time. And Billy Zane himself said, as a quote, like about the show, he goes, Cal was misunderstood. He's like, I wasn't the iceberg. I didn't drown 2,000 people, but somehow I'm the bad guy in this story.
Yeah, and I truly don't think up until this point, I have to finish watching the movie, but it just sounds like I kind of, as a married guy now, I kind of empathize a little bit with Cal's character more than I did when the movie came out.
Yeah.
Because I think the notion of the story is that love doesn't see money, or money doesn't matter to true love. That's kind of like the arching theme, or like true love. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are, will always outlast, or blah, blah, blah. But she still made some decisions to go with Cal. And I think at this point in the movie, it just doesn't sound right to like bail on your whole relationship, your whole family, your whole history based on some kid you met on a cruise boat.
And here's a really interesting theory about this whole thing, is that this whole Titanic movie is based on the recalling of Rose's story at an older age, right?
Correct.
One of the things we see that really cements Cal as being a bad guy is at the end, when the boat's sinking, he pretends to be a kid's father so that he can get on a lifeboat.
Okay.
But Rose isn't there. So how would she know that happened? So she's making up all these bad things that Cal, he's just this bad guy. Fuck him. I'm getting out of here. But that's a complete fantasy in her mind because she wasn't present for that. So
She doesn't know that.
How would she have known that happened?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Plus,
rewriting history.
She's an 101-year-old woman who's recalling parts of a relationship that happened 84 years before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in this film, you have to believe that like some things in her mind as she's retelling them as the movie you see it maybe are a little bit exaggerated. And the fact that Jack dies, maybe some of those facts are exaggerated as well.
Sure.
About how brave he was and how charismatic he was. And even the fact of Jack being Leonardo DiCaprio in the film, the retelling of the story in her flashback, maybe Jack wasn't even Jack as far as like, you know, he didn't look like Leonardo DiCaprio. Maybe she's fantasizing about that too.
I don't know, man. He can get it. Billy Zane, good looking dude.
Billy Zane's a good looking dude.
You know who he kind of looks like in the movie is Charlie Day. No. Who's the other guy? Rob McElhenney.
I don't know what that is.
The guy from Always Sunny that owns the football team with, what's his name?
I guess.
I don't know. He looks pretty.
He's not a bad looking guy. And at this point in the movie, I just feel like he's getting a bad rap and I can't stop thinking about it.
Sure.
I'm like, this guy's done nothing wrong. I mean, he offers to pay Jack for helping his wife, who, by the way, tried to friggin' take herself out. Lied about it. So, anyway, I'm rewatching Titanic and I have some thoughts about it. I have some thoughts about that whole thing.
Yeah.
And she holds on to the necklace. Isn't that I haven't got there, but isn't that the whole thing that she had the necklace the whole time?
Yep.
She had this.
And she hucked it over the at the end of the thing. Gave it back to Jack.
Throwing it over which is so there's so many problems with that.
Yeah, you got a whole you got family you could support for generations.
Generational wealth from that thing.
Yeah.
That was given to you in love, no?
Yeah, love or manipulation, but yeah, somewhere in the middle of that.
Manipulation, sure, I guess. I mean, that's going with the notion that it was like a fixed, arranged marriage type of thing.
Right.
But I mean, the arranged marriages are still going on today. They've been going on for hundreds, if not thousands, of years, and not every arranged marriage has perks like that. Meaning, like, just because they're arranged or put together doesn't mean that he has to give her gifts. Right? He doesn't have to give her. If anything,
he's got to give something to her dad. A couple of goats, two acres.
The dad's gone in this.
Yeah, it's true.
So, I don't know. I'm gonna watch the second half. Maybe we can talk about it next week. But I just feel like I'm conflicted with the story now.
Yeah,
a little bit. I used to study. Like, I used to love the Titanic when I was a kid. I wrote a 200-page book when I was like in second grade about the Titanic. It was a handwritten book, so it was probably about one typed page.
You wrote really big because you wanted to have
it was
lots of
massive,
pages.
right? Me and this kid Alex, we this was pre-Titanic movie, had a fascination with the Titanic, and so I wrote like this children's version of the whole thing, and I studied it, and it was, for a year or two, second, third grade, I was obsessed with the Titanic. And I almost felt like when the movie came out, I felt like the story got sold out a little bit.
Really?
For me, like I lost interest.
That
I
seems
used to
like
be
it would be your
obsessed.
Super Bowl.
I was kind of disappointed. It's kind of like if you're an indie artist that you love blows up, or like anyone who watches this, if they came back and watched and there's like 50 million views on it, you're like, Jiggy sucks.
I had I played Imagine Dragons on my college radio show before anyone knew who they were. Like, when I got like a demo before they even were signed, and then I'm like, these guys stink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think in your research of as being a Titanic head, or a Titanic as they're called in the business, what do you think it was, the Titanic or the Olympia? What do you think about the conspiracy that J.P. Morgan
there was a conspiracy
switched the ship so he can get a write-off or something like that?
Yeah, I think the conspiracy is that the ship was purposefully sank for some insurance policy that
but
was
it wasn't even the
boat.
Titanic, it was the Olympia.
And then they did a switcheroo. They were sister boats.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the conspiracy. I don't know. I think there's too many people on board for that to be real. I mean, unless it was like clear. I think there's too many accounts of what happened that night for it to be. I mean, how else would it have gone down?
Who
They
knows?
found the wreckage. I mean, clearly something hit the
Oh,
boat.
it definitely went down.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
it went down.
Yeah.
There's no conspiracy of that. But I don't think there's a conspiracy that it hit something other than an iceberg.
Yeah, it could. Yeah,
I think
could have
that's
been
pretty. I think that's pretty found, or pretty understood. I guess the conspiracy is maybe it was done purposefully.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. That's a pretty big one.
It's been years since you've researched.
It was second grade. I don't think I dove into conspiracy theories.
My big second grade research, or my big, I always did the paper on thing throughout my young years was orangutans. I loved. Those were my dudes, man.
See, I think my subject matter was a little more interesting.
Yeah, no.
The other thing I stuck onto
I
was
got to go to the zoo all the time for research.
I had I don't know if it was out of laziness or some fascination, but the only thing I dressed up as for Halloween for almost a decade.
Can I guess?
What?
Was it a baseball player?
Baseball player.
Yeah, of course. I love it.
Every year.
What? Any
It wasn't
specific
even a
baseball
thought.
player?
Like Halloween, there was all this chatter when you were a kid. Chatter going around mid October. Kids are like, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll be a Teletubby or whatever they're gonna be.
Teletubby.
Maybe I'll be a Teletubby this year. Whatever people are, I'm gonna be a scary kid. For me, that wasn't even part of it.
Yeah.
I used to think about Halloween as like one day a year I'm a baseball player.
Was it a specific player or just
Red Sox uniform, feet head to toe, decked out like I was like gonna pitch the 7th inning for the Red Sox.
but socks every year?
Red Sox every year.
Yeah.
And as a kid, it sounds kind of silly now because of Amazon and how easy things are to get. But the one thing in the Northeast that you could not get as a little leaguer were baseball pants with a belt loop in them.
Wow.
You only had elastic bands. So every
Yeah.
little league player just had elastic band pants. And for me, that was the hill I was going to die on. I told my parents, I'm like, I don't know, in my 7-year-old voice and tone, but in my head, how I remember it, it was basically like, I need these fucking pants, and I need them now.
If I go out in these streets
You know how
with a tie pant, I'm going
I
to be a
couldn't do it.
laughing stock.
I was the only
no
kid.
one's going to believe me that I'm actually a Red Sox player.
I was the only kid in Little League
that had
through
belt
every
pants.
year who had belt loop pants, and I remember exactly where I got them. They were at it was a sports store in Orlando, Florida, on International Drive called the Sports Denominator. And it was a 2-floor sports store off of I Drive, and it had like a big guy holding like a football or something. It was like a big animated thing, and it was a massive sports store.
I think it's still there, buddy.
Is it still there?
No.
It might have
was there
closed.
for a long time, though.
Massive sports store, and that's where I got the belt loop pants that I wore through Little League. And then, as I got older, you could get belt loop pants for when you got into your preteen, teen years. But that was a big thing. Like, I remember playing Little League, and I was the kid with the belt.
And
It was a
everyone-
part of the uniform that no one had an issue with. Like, I had to like find out, like, go do my own belt.
get your own colors.
The other thing I had was stirrups, which was another thing I was like, I need to have the stirrups, which are out of style now, but I would have 2 socks. So I'd have one white sock, straight white, taped at my knee, and then a stirrup that would go over the top of
Yeah.
it, and then my cleat. Where all the other kids wore, oh my God, I remember I would judge a Little League player opponent. Every kid wore the elastic band pants and just like regular tube socks.
with
just
the
like,
stripe.
with
we
that was
had
like
the stripe, like,
just
built into the-
lazy
yeah.
fucking kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, these kids aren't gonna play. This kid isn't a player. Or if they got up and their pants were hiked up and you could see their skin, and they
Yeah.
just had like little socks with the cleats, which a lot of kids did.
Yeah.
Not a player.
I was
Me,
obsessed with the solid color. That was like no one did it in ours. Everyone had the white sock with the
one
imprint
stripe,
of
yeah,
the
just
stirrup.
a one stripe, yeah.
But I was obsessed with the solid
Solid socks.
color and as high as I can get them.
That's that actually came back when I played baseball later in high school and college. Everyone did the solid color sock. The syrup was out. But for me in Little League, man, if you were to come see me play Little League, it was like I just signed a contract with the Portland Sea Dogs. Like I was like ready to go play.
Did
Like
you
it was
have
like
T-shirts, or were they button up, or were they cotton, or were they poly? Because that was a big deal for us. Like
I was right on the cusp of the new generation sports tech stuff. So like when I was in Little League, we still had cotton jerseys and they were heavy and they were thick as fuck, and it was really hot in the summertime. The poly, I think I got my first like poly blend, you know, like the lighter weight.
Yeah, the polyester.
Those not till high school.
Yeah.
I loved my high school jerseys, were awesome. They were like the mesh, kind of like baby V baseball jerseys. Awesome. But yeah, the belt loop, man, killer. Eye black, that was the other one. Eye black, no kids had eye black. You got the stick, you put it underneath your eye.
Everyone in that town thought you were a fucking crazy person. They were like, who does this kid
They
think
thought I was
he
obsessed
is?
with baseball, for sure. Like I'd show up, I took it probably too far. I bet my parents were embarrassed.
You actually were chewing tobacco?
Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
I never got in trouble in elementary school. Never. The only time I got pulled to the principal's office was Miss Vassal, second grade show and tell. And I didn't tell anyone didn't tell my parents what I was bringing, but I brought Big League Chew for show and tell. And my show and tell, I stood up at the front of the class and I said, this is what you do to be a baseball player. And I took the Big League Chew and put it into my mouth and started like spitting into it. It was gum, but I was doing imitations. It would be like me going up and be like, this is how you smoke a cigarette.
Oh, okay.
I was doing an imitation of putting chaw inside your cheek and like spitting to a trash can.
Isn't that crazy that baseball used to be synonymous with chewing tobacco? And it's like so far... That's such a crazy idea now to think
They
that
still do it. Everyone still does it, for sure.
in the bigs.
Oh, God, yeah.
Really?
Yes. But it's
I don't
all
know. I guess I don't
dip.
pay enough attention.
So
there's pouches then.
in the 80s, they used to do the strips of tobacco,
Yeah, chaw.
and they'd wrap it with bubble gum, and it would just be a big wad in your cheek.
Yeah.
But now all the players do dip, which is just a little thing in your cheek, or the pouches, which can go
And your
top lip, bottom lip, or both. A lot of kids do both.
I guess.
But when
I forgot
when I
about the
played
pouches.
in college, every kid on the team did dip.
Yeah.
Every single kid did tobacco products.
I guess I just forgot about pouches because me too. Like it was all everyone was. I never dipped. I did it once and I got sick.
I got wildly sick. My my teammates were like, "Yeah, if we win by 15 runs tonight, Jiggy will do a dip." I didn't really agree to that, but then we won by like 23 runs, and I put a dip in while you shake hands in the line, and people were concerned because I was like, "What the?" I was throwing up and like
loopy.
The only comparison that I had is like I felt like I had 15 shots of vodka.
Wow.
Because my lips have never, because what dip does is it literally cuts your gums and then the whatever nicotine or whatever goes into your bloodstream, and I got fucked
It's fiberglass.
up, bro.
It's crazy.
Bro, I did not like it. And my teammates took me in a Steak and Shake to kind of like sober me up, but I was like, never ever again. That's one thing
crazy.
that I smoked one cigarette in my life. I did dip once in my life, and never again. And both were in college, and it was so repulsive to me
Yeah.
that I'd never even thought about it.
I just bought a packet of Zins because I wanted to try them. It's basically like a pouch,
Okay.
but there's no tobacco. It's just nicotine. And it's like the idea is like, oh, it's just the nicotine that gives you energy,
No.
and it's kind of nice.
Ugh.
Like if I want a little bit of like this whole weekend when I was in San Antonio, I was just like just exhausted. You know, I was at the lake for 2 weeks, and then I have these 3 a.m. flights, and then the show. It's just hot. So I started zinning up, and it was a nice way. Other than sucking coffees all night,
Yeah.
pop a zin.
I'll do a coffee all
pop
day.
a zin. It was actually all right. I'm kind of nervous.
I don't think I could do it. It's kind of like that head high feeling
doesn't
that
get
I
you
don't
sick
like.
at all. It doesn't get you sick at all because I hated
I'm so
dip.
sensitive though, man.
Yeah.
I'm so sensitive. Because I just don't like. I don't eat great. Like not I don't eat like shit, but I don't. My diet isn't like, oh, I'm like a vegan or I have smoothies every day.
Right.
But I don't do anything that would be considered like risky behavior, I guess. Like I don't drink a lot. I barely drink. I don't do any tobacco products. So for me, that would probably give me a shot in the head that I think I would get fucked up.
Yeah, probably.
But maybe not. I don't know. Like I have an energy drink. If I had a Monster energy drink and I drank the entire thing, you'd have to put me down.
Well,
I'd be bouncing around here.
I'll tell you the perfect time to find out if you need if the Zen works for you.
Taste Funny Weekend.
It's funny. Why not?
Taste Funny Weekend is
You're
like
buzzing. You got nowhere. You're so tired. You got no clue what's going on. Pop us in. See what happens.
I'm on just adrenaline.
It's clean. It tastes like mint. You don't even know what's going on.
That's it, straight up adrenaline for 3 days.
Brutal.
Just 3 days, just blowing through, just trying to put out fires all day.
Yeah.
Make sure everything's okay. But that's like anyone, running any type of festival, doing any type of event. That's just what it is. It's 3 days of a lot of adrenaline and whatever you need to get through. For me, it's like chicken tenders, fries, and
Coca-Cola classics.
Yeah, I'll have a couple Coronas, a couple of chicken tendies, and I'm like good to go. That's all I need.
My goal this year is to not get as banged up as I did the first night.
Can't get banged up on the first night. It's a festival. It's like a cruise. Like you can't get banged up the first night of a cruise too much.
I saw my old college roommate, lived in Florida with him. I'm in Florida. He's there. We used to drink whiskey all the time together. I was like, let's have a whiskey. And then I think we ended up drinking, I'm going to say 8 or 9 glasses of whiskey that night. We killed a full bottle of the whiskey, the only whiskey we liked that they had.
Yeah.
We drank the bottle. He was finishing the bottle. He goes, this was all you.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
That's a lot.
And that's when I rolled into, I don't even remember what, trivia or bingo, whatever the fuck I was hosting.
Dirty bingo.
Oh boy. I was
hungover bingo.
I shocked that I made it the rest of the weekend. But you know what? How I did? Committed to the
and
craft.
Zen.
No Zins.
No Zins.
This year, maybe some Zins.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. I don't know if this is the episode that's going to come out leading up to Taste Funny Weekend. So if you're coming out to Taste Funny Weekend, I'll see you this week.
I'll see you
Very
there
excited.
too, bud.
You can go to jiggycomedy.com/TFW3, the number 3, if you want to see the schedule of events. It's all up there. Put all the work in now, and now we get to go have fun. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you at Taste Funny Weekend if you're going to be there. And till next time, mahalo. Deuces.
Here we go.
Yep.